welcome to another week of Connect Kids. And today we're going to start this morning service with a bit of worship. Wow, wasn't that worship great this morning? Thanks to our worship team. Okay, can any of you tell me what we talked about in last week's service? I'm going to give you 3 options and let me know what you think the answer is. Is it A, Jesus' birth, B, Jesus at the temple, or C, the Lord's Prayer? Yes, the answer is B, Jesus at the temple. Last week, we looked at the story of Jesus as a young boy in the temple in Jerusalem and how we can use that example in our own lives to put God first by spending time with Him. This week, our story is found in the book of Matthew in chapter 3, verses 13 to 17, and it's about the story of Jesus' baptism. But before we jump into our story, let's watch this short video which explains what baptism is and why it's important.
What exactly is baptism? Well, first let's talk about what baptism is not. Baptism isn't the same thing as being born again. It's not a way to get to heaven, and it doesn't make God love you any more than He already does. Baptism is simply a way to let everyone know that you've been born again and you've chosen to follow Jesus. It's pretty simple too. You'll get in some water and a pastor will say a few things, then they'll dip you under and bring you right back up. That's all there is to it. Now you might be thinking, I would love to tell everyone that I follow Jesus, but why do I go underwater? Wouldn't it be easier to tell people with like a megaphone? Or a giant tattoo on my face? Well, the water is really just a symbol of what happens when we're born again. Going under the water represents our old life being washed away. Coming up out of the water shows that we are starting a new life with Jesus. We do it this way because it's the way Jesus did it. The Bible tells us in Matthew 3:13 how Jesus Himself was baptized, just like this, when He was here on the earth. And since we want to follow Jesus in everything we do, being baptized is an important step to take after we make Jesus our Lord. Think of it like a jersey. When someone is on a sports team, they wear a jersey so that everyone can see which team they're on. When we're born again, we become a part of God's team. But we shouldn't just stop there. Being baptized is like putting on the jersey so everyone can see that we love Jesus and we've chosen to follow Him. So if you've been born again and you haven't been baptized yet, what are you waiting for? It's time to put on your jersey and show everyone whose team you're on.
And that is what baptism looks like. But I wonder what happened to Jesus at his baptism. Who was there? Who baptized him? And was he given a team jersey too? Well, let's jump into Matthew chapter 3 verses 13 to 17 and read the story together. If you have a Bible at home, why not pause the video and go and grab it and you can follow along. But if you don't worry, the words will come up on the screen below.
Then Jesus went from Galilee to the Jordan River to be baptized by John. But John tried to talk him out of it. I am the one who needs to be baptized by you, he said. So why are you coming to me? But Jesus said it should be done, for we must carry out all that God requires. So John agreed to baptize him. After his baptism, as Jesus came up out of the water, the heavens were opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and settling on him. And a voice from heaven said, "This is my dearly loved Son, who brings me great joy."
Wow, wasn't that awesome? Jesus chose to ask John to baptize him instead of doing it himself. And it wasn't because Jesus wasn't important or that he couldn't do it, but he set the perfect example for everyone watching and for us to follow today. My favourite part of the story was when God spoke from the clouds and he said, "This is my Son whom I love. With him I am well pleased." I don't know about you, but if I was someone in the crowd and I heard God speak, I would be super scared and super surprised. And this was a really special moment in Jesus' journey because it was the first time that God told the world who Jesus was, his Son. But how can we use this story to help us today? Well, as we saw earlier, Christians believe that baptism is a way of declaring or telling others of their choice to become a Christian. Now, it doesn't mean that if you're a Christian and you're not baptized that you don't count, or that baptism is the way that you become a Christian, because only God can save you. But it's a way of celebrating your faith publicly and showing others that you have decided to wear your God team jersey. So that's one lesson that we can take away from this week's story. But a second is that it answers our first W, who Jesus is. He's God's Son. But that wasn't the end of the story. And next week, we're going to find out more about what happened next. So make sure you come back to find out. But for now, let's jump into today's memory verse, which is from Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. And it says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Okay, let's try that again. And this time we're going to put our actions in there. And we're going to start by saying the Bible says after 3. 1, 2, 3. The Bible says in Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Great job, everyone. Let's finish today's service with this week's challenge, which is to tell one person in your family or your friends or whoever you live with about what you've learned so far. So it could be something to do with Jesus' baptism, it could be Jesus in the temple, or maybe even something from the Lord's prayer. And if you'd like to share with us what you shared with others, then you can do that by emailing us at kids@omacommunitychurch.com. We would love to hear your stories. But for now, let's take a few minutes to be still and pray to our Father in heaven using the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. God, thank you for Connect Kids and being able to meet as a church family online this week. Keep us safe and healthy, and bring us all back next week to hear more stories about you. Amen. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. Bye, kids.